Today I'll be covering every major type of warship used by the Imperial Japanese Navy during World War II, from massive battleships and fleet carriers to cruisers, destroyers, submarines, and the specialized vessels built as the war turned against Japan. Battleships. Yamato was the largest battleship ever built. Armed with massive 460-millimeter guns, it was designed to overpower any enemy on the surface, but rarely found a battle worthy of its size. Musashi was Yamato's sister ship and shared the same immense firepower. It was sunk by repeated American air attacks, proving that battleships could no longer survive without air cover. Nagato served as Japan's flagship for many years before the war. It represented an older generation of battleship design, but still carried significant symbolic power. Mutsu was a sister ship to Nagato and was destroyed by a mysterious internal explosion, never seeing its full wartime potential. Fuso was an older battleship modernized multiple times, yet still obsolete by World War II standards. It was sunk at the Battle of Surigao Strait. Yamashiro shared the same fate as Fuso, marking the last battleship versus battleship engagement in history. Kongo was a fast battleship capable of escorting aircraft carriers. Its speed made it one of Japan's most flexible capital ships early in the war. Haruna was a sister ship to Kongo and served extensively in fleet escort and air defense roles. Issei began its life as a battleship before being converted into a hybrid carrier battleship in a desperate attempt to replace lost air power. Hyuga underwent the same conversion, reflecting Japan's shrinking industrial and aviation capacity late in the war. Aircraft carriers. Akagi was one of Japan's primary fleet carriers and took part in the attack on Pearl Harbor. Kaga was originally designed as a battleship before being converted into a carrier, becoming a key strike platform early in the war. Soryu was a fast fleet carrier built for offensive operations across the Pacific. Hiryu became famous at Midway for launching Japan's final counterattacks before being sunk. Shokaku was among the most modern and capable carriers Japan ever built. Tsukaku was the last surviving carrier from the Pearl Harbor strike force and was later sacrificed as a decoy. Taiho was Japan's first armored deck carrier, but poor damage control led to its loss. Hosho was the world's first purpose-built aircraft carrier, later serving mainly as a training vessel. Ryujo was a light carrier with serious stability issues caused by design compromises. Junyo was converted from a passenger liner and used mainly for escort and secondary operations. Hyo was a sister ship to Junyo and reflected Japan's reliance on conversions. Shoho was Japan's first carrier sunk during the war at the Battle of the Coral Sea. Zuiho was a light carrier converted from a support ship, often used to reinforce fleet operations. Unryu was a late-war carrier built using simplified construction methods. Amagi was an Unryu-class carrier destroyed by air attacks before it could see combat. Shinano was the largest aircraft carrier ever built at the time, converted from a Yamato-class hull and sunk shortly after entering service. Heavy cruisers. Myoko was a powerful heavy cruiser that exceeded treaty limits in firepower. Nachi was a sister ship that took part in multiple major naval battles. Haguro saw extensive combat in Southeast Asia before being sunk by British forces. Takao was a modern heavy cruiser optimized for long-range engagements. Atago served as a flagship and was later sunk by an American submarine. Mogami was designed with flexible armament and later upgraded to heavier guns. Makuma was sunk at Midway after colliding during a withdrawal maneuver. Suzuya fought in several major battles before being destroyed by air attack. Kumano was heavily damaged and later sunk during Japan's retreat. Light cruisers. Agano was designed to command destroyer squadrons. Noshiro served mainly in carrier escort roles. Yahagi took part in Yamato's final mission during Operation Tengo. Kuma was an older light cruiser widely used for patrol duties. Sendai specialized in night combat operations. Jinsu was heavily engaged in the Solomon Islands campaign. Oyodo was designed as a fleet command cruiser late in the war. Destroyers. Fubuki revolutionized destroyer design with unprecedented firepower. Kagero formed the backbone of Japan's destroyer force early in the war. Yugumo improved upon earlier designs with enhanced night-fighting capability. Akizuki was designed primarily for anti-aircraft escort duties. Shiratsuyu focused on torpedo warfare during night engagements. Asashio was powerful but initially suffered from technical issues. Hatsuharu was downsized to meet treaty limits, causing stability problems. Shimakaze was the fastest Japanese destroyer ever built and carried an enormous torpedo armament. Submarines. I-15 was a long-range attack submarine operating across the Pacific. I-19 famously launched a torpedo spread that struck multiple American ships. I-58 sank the cruiser USS Indianapolis. I-168 finished off the carrier USS Yorktown after the Battle of Midway. I-25 carried out the only Japanese bombing of the continental United States. I-8 completed long-distance missions between Japan and Europe. I-400 was the largest submarine of the war, capable of carrying aircraft, escort, and special vessels. Chitose began as a seaplane tender and was later converted into a light carrier. Chiyoda followed a similar conversion path during the war. Kaiboken Type D represented Japan's late attempt to counter Allied submarines with mass-produced escorts. No. 101 class landing ship supported amphibious and transport operations across the Pacific.